This morning presentation, we just give you a brief synopsis in terms of what is the department work plan for 2024. This work plan was comprised with the assistance of and the inputs of all divisions. In 2024, the department intends to work closely with all stakeholders, farmers, agro-processors, allied agencies, the business community, the general public, to ensure that productivity and sustainability is achieved in 2024. The department will also review its land lease policy and concession policy to ensure and guarantee that maximum output is achieved. And each division will be charged to effectively implement their work programs. The objectives basically is to increase productivity, sustainability throughout the sector efficiently, develop a culture of optimism, skills, and efficiency with our staff and farmers, build resilience and opportunity with key players such as farmers, agro-processors, crafters, etc., to improve the quality and branding while introducing new products on the market and to conserve and protect our resources. The Department of Agriculture, we normally have 4 major activities, and there are a number of times these activities somewhat affects or infringe on some of the work program. We have the Agricultural Expo, which will be held at the ETW Park on March 21st and 22nd, I must say, probably the largest event on the island of Nevis. We have the Agriculture Awareness Month, which will run in the month of May, from the 2nd to the 30th of May. We have the Food Festival, which is August 2nd, and the World Food Day Activities Week, which is October the 14th to the 18th. The department is basically comprised of 8 divisions: small farms, agro-processing, abattoir, vet/livestock, extension/estates, plant quarantine, marketing, and clerical. The small farm, or as we might term it as SFEP division, aimed this year to improve its operation on a timely basis. We also, in this year, hope to reduce the number of farmers' complaints that we would have received within previous years. And we're hoping that all of this would translate into productivity by our farmers and revenue generation. The small farms within the first quarter would overview its current operational practices. We'd also like to review the prices of the services that we provide within the department for the small farm equipment pool. The prices are somewhat close 30 years. We also would like to establish and mandate in terms of our vehicles within the department for timely servicing by the division. And we also would like to renew and review all our stock that we have within the department. That's within the first quarter. In the second quarter, we want to start to source parts. A number of times that the tractors are down, and sometimes they're down for very simple parts. So we want to start to source these parts and have these parts readily available. So in the event of something minor, the tractors could be back up and running. We want to do some work as it relates to a proper secure storage area for these equipment, and we want to do some staff training as it relates to time management and customer service. Within the third quarter, we are anticipating that we'll have an additional tractor added to the fleet. There's one that we have right now that we're currently working on, but we're hoping that within the third quarter that will add to the fleet, and we're hoping that by the fourth quarter, land preparation, etc., should be up by 20% with the addition of this new machinery. Agro-processing division, it prides itself to high quality products for an ever-growing market through partnership, staff training, and motivation. This year, the division aimed to re-energize the agro-processing fraternity on the island of Nevis. We would have known that Nevis was once very vibrant with a number of agro-processors. You have some now, but they are somewhat doing it at home, so we want to bring them out this year. So within the first quarter, we want to start, the first and second quarter, we want to start to have discussions with these new agro-processors. We want to also have some training for these individuals as it relates to product development and product quality. And within the third and fourth quarter, we want to increase our market shares by 5%, develop at the agro-processing division at least 2 additional products and have them fully on the market. And we also looking to see if we could have 1 individual or 2 individual trained externally. The abattoir aimed to establish a professional business environment for high quality provision of goods, services, and towards sustained growth within the division. And by doing this, the division hoped to do some staff training among the staff there. The division also want to look at possibility of extending the storage capacity. I know during Christmas they would have a lot of issues as it relates to space for the ever-growing request for hams. So these are some of the things that the abattoir division is looking to embark upon this year. One of the things that they wish to do again is to introduce additional new cuts to the market. There are quite a bit of persons asking for new cuts. And the abattoir also wish to increase its output by 7% this year, bearing in mind that products, the raw products, the goat and the sheep and the cattle and the pig, they're all available. The vet/livestock division, what they want to do this year is to change the whole scope of how the livestock farmers look at agriculture and more of a business approach through farm records, animal selection, water harvesting, forage bank development, etc., and to increase the throughput to the abattoir by just about 7% for this year. We are also hoping to increase egg production by 9% to continue to sustain our market, our growing market. And we're hoping, again, as Mr. Wall would have indicated his cry for the local chicken, is to increase local chicken production availability by 1,500% and will grow once the processing plant actually comes on stream. The veterinary/livestock, currently work would have started as it relates to some perimeter fencing at the Madden's farm. So we're going to continue with that. We are hoping to complete the pound within the first quarter this year also, because quite a bit of persons would have had issues as it relates to roaming animals in 2023. We want to also commence the establishment of a forage bank or the redevelopment of the forage bank there at Madden's. And we also wish to review our herd there at Madden's in terms of selection of animals, look at our bull, revalue our bull to actually see if we actually time now for us to replace that bull. We also have a zebu herd, and for this year, we wish to engage with key personnel to see how can we reduce that herd, zebu roaming herd, thus to have animals within the abattoir also, and to remove those animals from roaming. We're also hoping to introduce here small ruminants and pig breeding. We have the 2 facilities already constructed, The piggery is about 90% constructed, and the small ruminant unit is completed. So we're hoping between the second and third quarter, we'll be able to source those animals, and hopefully within 2025, we actually start to have offsprings to provide to our farmers. On the estates, an extension, we aim this year to increase our productivity, both on estates and with farmers. And there's a number of crops that are out there that we look at, but we would have zoned in specifically on 9 crops that we believe that the island of Nevis could be 90 to 100% self-sufficient in those crops. These include watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe, tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce, squash, pumpkin, and green bananas. Some of these crops, we are already at 90% self-sufficiency, and we want to ensure that within this year, we're able to accomplish that with additional work to be done on some other crops. We are hoping this year again for the plant propagation unit to play key focus as it relates to plant propagation, as it relates to various mangoes, avocados, breadfruits, and the continued availability of healthy seedlings for our farmers. All of this would be accomplished through constant staff training, farmers check, record keeping, and analyzing of data. We are hoping that, again, within this year, we have an additional establishment of 8,000 square feet of greenhouse, and we also want to review our school garden outreach. Again, that is something that we are hoping to work on, and here, what you see here is just a projection that we have between the quarters, and this is basically a work plan submitted by the estates in terms of a number of crops. Those that are highlighted in blue, you realize those are the crops that we are aiming to be 90% to 100% self-sufficient in. And coming from the estates alone, for this year, we're looking at about 102,000 pounds, and calculating just at a dollar value, $102,000. On the other side is just a view that we are looking at, and this is how we are aiming to analyze the data, because we're at the point where we know the numbers that we need planted in the ground. And if we are looking at, for instance, the section with the blue, which is estate, the section in the green is just an indication of what's lacking. So these are the figures, these are the acreage that Extension now will have to work with farmers to ensure that these acreages, these crops are established within the given period. So basically, we're looking for, if you look at the work program for the estates, you're looking, like, for instance, within the fourth quarter, you're looking at about, say, 50,000 pounds of food, but on the farmer level, you need the support of about 128,000 pounds of food to make it up. So if you were to look at, for instance, watermelons, the estate indicated that they're going to be establishing 1 acre within the fourth quarter. Therefore, you have 3 acres missing. So 3 acres now will have to be sourced somewhere. Extension will now have to work with farmers to ensure that that acreage is established. The acreage may vary, because as we have here, projecting, say, about 8 to 10,000 pounds of melon per acre. But knowing your farmer, you may have a farmer that you know may not be able to give you 10,000. He may give you 6. Then you know your requirement now move from 3 acres to about 3.5, 4 acres. Plant quarantine. Plant quarantine is a very critical and key division within the agricultural sector. And these These are the individuals who want to protect our borders from invasive species. And for this year, they will continue to ensure that there's no introduction of additional invasive species. The division would do an assessment in terms of existing pests on the island and to see pests of priority, where we could actually start to look at different tech packs to control these pests. We also, one of the other things that we are looking at, again, is the upgrade of our lab there in Prospect. And again, this would be able to help extension and quarantine as it relates to being able to diagnose appropriately. And we also in review of the costing for the phyto permits and the import permits, so that's something that we're hoping to propose. It is very unfair at times. You may have someone wishing to send out 1 bag of T-Bush and paying $5, and somebody who's sending out a container still paying the same $5. So that is something that we would like to review within the year from plant quarantine. We also want to ensure that we do some farmer training as it relates to pest and disease identification. What we realize that there are a number of farmers, they may see, for instance, they may see a pest, and they're not able to identify the particular pest. A pest might be a chewing pest, but whatever they're applying may be something for cutting or biting. So we want to ensure that our farmers are able to appropriately identify and effectively manage these pests, because sometimes it's not all the time you need pest control. Sometimes it's just as simple as removing that leaf. Marketing division for 2024, it has its work cut out, and this division will have to play a lead role as it relates to the agriculture sector here on Nevis. Looking at what we propose with farmers and extension and the estates, marketing now will have to be the ones to ensure that these foods are marketed. Too many times you see a farmer with maybe 100 pounds of tomato or 50 pounds of cucumber, and the farmer actually trying to market their stuff themselves. What we want to do this year is to ensure that the farmers farm and market the produce. What we did in 2023, we actually did a trial in 2023, and it worked well as it relates to we would have changed the way in which we order inputs. And we would have been doing it in smaller amounts, but more frequently. And now we realize that there's currently a constant supply of agricultural inputs, pesticides and seeds. So this is what we want to continue in this year, to ensure that when it's time for farmers or estate to plant, the necessary inputs are available. We also want to look later this year as it relates to additional inputs, as it relates to simple things like irrigation, connection, and those sort of things, ground matting. We want to ensure that these things are available at marketing, so even if he's a new upcoming farmer, they're able to have these things available. In marketing, again, one of the things that marketing will work closely with extension with is farmers training. And farmers training as it relates to post-harvest technology. A number of times you see some farmers, you go by them, you see some beautiful crops. And in terms of, and because of poor harvesting, sometimes they get to marketing and the shelf life is much reduced. Sometimes they're transported in sun, sometimes they're probably not properly cleaned, etc. And then sometimes when marketing is able to now telling them that, hey, this is what remained for maybe 2-3 days, farmers are upset. So we want to start to do some training as it relates to post-harvest technology. And we want to see a 20% increase in terms of throughput through the division. Clerical, which is the last of the divisions, is actually the division where you go and you pay. Yesterday I was speaking to potential farmer or a budding farmer. And one of the key issues that they would have expressed is that a number of times when they go for land prep service, there's no one telling them, hey, okay, I already sent your name to small farm, tractor should be by you in this time, etc. So we want to be able to change all of that for this year to ensure that farmers or clients, they're able to have on-hand information as it relates to when their service is going to reach to them. Clerical would also play a critical role as we look at reviewing a number of these fees and also ensure that time and payments are done in a timely manner. And also, we want for this year, well, not necessarily through clerical, but a lot of times some of the bills that go there is to refocus our animal control in the agricultural area. In 2023, and even now, we have quite a bit of farmers complaining in terms of monkeys. So we want to be able to, in this year, to refocus the control of these animals, specifically within the agricultural area, so our farmers will be able to breathe some sense of relief, and we're able to actually meet the targets that we would have set. Our allied agencies, we want to continue to work with them this year. There's a number of areas that we have of key focus for 2024, our poultry, citrus, small ruminants, agro-processing, pest and disease management and diagnosis, and soil testing. And the question is, how would we get there? How? And for us, we have to understand the objectives, understand what's our role in all of this, seek partnership and teamwork, hold ourselves accountable, and we have to be efficient as individuals. Thank you.